Today we are going to explore the Age of Enlightenment put us in a time period 1750 to 1900, where ideas, questioning traditions, and reformation can be widely seen. A shift from what is custom to experiencing change. We are not just talking about what Enlightenment is, but also taking a glimpse of the various revolutions that happened during that time. The Age of Enlightenment provided the theoretical framework of all these upheaval. An intellectual movement that applied new ways of understanding, such as rationalism and empiricist approaches to both natural world and human relationship. The Enlightenment was especially prominent in France, where its leaders were known as the philosophes. The Enlightenment majored in rationalism form, which argued that reason rather than emotion or any external authority is the most reliable source of true knowledge. Empiricism describes the idea that true knowledge is gained through the senses, mainly through rigorous experimentation. During the scientific revolution that took place in Europe in the 16th and 17th centuries, scientists threw aside religious and biblical authority and applied the rigorous process of reason to understand how the real world functions. This led to the development of empirical rationalist ways of thinking during the Enlightenment. While Enlightenment is just a continuation of scientific revolution theory, Enlightenment philosophers apply these techniques to the study of human society, the questioning and re-examination of the role of religion. The Enlightenment fundamentally reshaped the dynamics of religion and authority in European society. Prior to this era, religion, particularly Christianity, was deeply intertwined with state power, bolstering the authority of monarchs who were often regarded as divinely ordained rulers. However, Enlightenment thinkers challenged this hierarchical structure, advocating for a transfer of authority from external sources like the church and monarchy to the individual. Central to this shift was the promotion of reason, empirical evidence, and personal autonomy over blind adherence to traditional authorities.
During the Enlightenment, alongside the questioning of traditional religious doctrines and authority, new belief system emerged that reflected the era's emphasis on reason, skepticism, and empirical inquiry. Two notable belief systems that gained prominence during this period were deism and atheism. Individualism. Individualism emphasized the importance of individual rights, autonomy, and self reliance. Natural rights, also known as absolute rights or human rights, are fundamental rights that are inherent to all individuals by nature of their humanity. These rights are considered universal, absolute, and self evident, meaning they exist independently of any government or society and cannot be taken away or surrendered. Social contract. Human societies, endowed with natural rights, must construct a government of their own will to protect their natural right. The French Revolution, which began in 1789, was a pivotal event that inspired revolutionary movements around the world. It aimed to dismantle the absolute monarchy in France and establish a democratic government based on principle of liberty, equality, and fraternity. The revolution saw the overthrow of King Louis XVI, the establishment of republic, and the execution of the king and many aristocrats. It also led to significant and social reforms, including the abolition of feudal privileges and the Declaration of Rights of Man and of the Citizens. The American Revolution, which occurred from 1775 to 1783, was largely inspired by Enlightenment ideals and the desire for independence from British colonial rule. It aimed to establish a new nation founded on principles of self governance, individual rights, and democracy. Key events included the Declaration of Independence in 1776, the Revolutionary War against British force, and the eventual establishment of the United States of America as an independent republic. The Haiyan Revolution, spanning from 1791 to 1804, was the only successful slave revolt in the history that led to establishment of independent nation, Haiti. It was influenced by French Revolution and inspired by ideals of liberty and equality, led by the figures like Toussaint Louverture and Jean-Jacques Dessalines. enslaved African rebelled against the French colonial rule, eventually defeating the colonial forces and abolishing slavery. The revolution had profound implications for the abolition of slavery and the struggle for racial equality worldwide. The Latin America Revolution, which occurred primarily in the early 19th century, were a series of uprisings and conflicts that led to independence of many Latin American countries from Spain and Portuguese colonial rule. Influenced by the French and American Revolution as well as Enlightenment ideas, these movements aimed to end colonial oppression and establish independent nations based on principles of self-determination and sovereignty. Key features like Simon Bolivar and Jose de San Martin played instrumental roles in leading the independence movement across the region. Enlightenment effects. Major revolution. The Enlightenment provide intellectual framework for major revolutions such as American Revolution, the French Revolution, and the Latin American revolutions. Enlightenment ideas about individual rights, liberty, and government by consent inspired revolutionaries to challenge traditional authority to seek political change. Nationalism. As people began to question traditional authorities and assert their rights to self governance, they also developed a sense of national identity and solidarity based on shared language, history, and culture. Suffrage. And the Enlightenment's emphasis on individual rights and equality laid the groundwork for advancement in suffrage rights. Suffrage, also known as the right to vote, is a fundamental political right that allows individuals to participate in the democratic process by electing representatives and influencing government policies and decisions. Abolition of slavery. The abolition of slavery refers to the movement to end the institution of chattel slavery, in which individuals are treated as property and forced to perform labor without compensation. End of serfdom. Serfdom was a feudal system of labor in which peasants were bound to work to the land of the Lord in exchange for protection and a share of the produce. Women's suffrage. Women's suffrage is the right of women to vote and participate in the political process on equal terms with men. Thank you for joining us in this journey through Age of Enlightenment. Remember, the pursuit of knowledge and reason continues today. Stay curious. Until next time!